Joining me now is Alex Klenman, President and CEO of Azincourt Energy. Great to see you, Alex.
Mark, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Now, you've got news on your East Preston uranium project in the basin. We'll get to that in just a moment, but there are many in the Red Cloud community who would know Azincourt, some may not. So can you just give us a brief refresher, a brief overview, and especially of your prime location in the basin?
Yeah, we're a uranium exploration and development company where our primary project is the East Preston uranium project located in the southwestern portion of the basin. We're well capitalized and we're working a very large 25,000 hectare project with a lot of grade A targets.
Now, you've completed your 23 winter drill program at East Preston, and you said that you're very pleased with the results and you're seeing what you needed to see. So can you give us some broad strokes highlights of what you are seeing?
Yeah, our vice president of exploration is a man named Trevor Perkins, and Trevor came to the company with an exploration model for East Preston. And that really boils down to, in simplified terms, chasing alteration packages. Many big discoveries in the basin have been made applying this methodology, and so we brought it into East Preston. And last year we got into these hematite halos, these hematite alteration zones in and around our conductor packages. And this year we've run into clays, and the significance of the clays is usually that the clay is found closer to uranium mineralization. So for us, that ticks off a very important box, and it continues to move the project forward.
Speaking of Trevor, maybe you can flesh that out a bit, because he has described what you're doing with these alteration halo drill targets as a bullseye with the clay on the outside and the uranium in the middle of the bullseye. So it's a nice visual too for investors. So can you explain that some more, elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean, these things, it's science. We know certain things, and we know that uranium mineralization, typically in certain situations in the basin, will have these halos. And the halos, the outer ring of that bullseye, as you mentioned, is typically the hematite alteration. The inner circle, or the closest ring to the mineralization, typically involves clays, different types of clays, and we've run into those clays. So, the only thing left here is for us to continue into what we hope is significant mineralization.
Now, Alex, you're excited to see the lab results. So can we expect in April, May, June, a steady news flow? And what are your overall expectations?
Yeah, no, we're going to get our lab results back here in May, maybe. I hesitate to say June, but in the past it's stretched into June. So sometime in the month and a half ahead, 2 months ahead, we'll get those results. These are analytical results. They're going to tell us what was in those packages we drilled through. And that's important. We'd love to see, good enriched uranium present, and those numbers will help us vector towards what we think is impactful discovery. The other side of it is, there's going to be some news flow. We want to continue to push things forward. Typically, we have a short window in the basin, December to April, really, where we are in the southwestern side. So we'd like to extend work in the summer and try to build more of news flow throughout the course of the year.
Now, you drilled a little more than 3,000 meters. You had planned on 5,000 meters, but you say that everything was more expensive across the board. Your peers are dealing with it. You're dealing with it. Can you give us a sense of that, the impact of inflation on your operations?
Yeah, it has really reared its ugly head. It's everywhere in our lives, in our personal lives. Obviously, if you go to the grocery store, go on and on and on, there's a list of things that we pay more for today. And unfortunately, that's found its way into exploration. And that is from a labor cost, materials cost, fuel, food, everything, equipment, everything was up across the board. And that's unfortunate, but it's a reality we're living with. We still got, a decent amount of holes done, particularly in the right areas. And we'll monitor it moving forward. I mean, we're not going to stop working simply because things are more expensive. We're well capitalized. Hopefully we can continue to be well capitalized and continue to push East Preston forward.
Alex, you touched on the potential for summer work, and you've also talked about the fact that the local communities on that land with whom you have relationships, they use that land for hunting and fishing and recreation in the summer months. So how do you approach that, and what needs to be decided in order to be able to do some summer work?
Yeah, it's really touchy. Obviously, as you mentioned, First Nations groups, yeah, that's their land, that's their territory. They utilize it in the warmer months for everything from recreation to hunting, fishing. Caribou move through there. We do not want to be disruptive. That's not our goal. But we're working with our partners in the community. We're trying to design some summer work programs that will not impact them or will have minimal impact on the local communities. But there is a recognized need for us to do more work than that 4 or 5 month window that we typically have. And we're also working on another initiative to get some other work done elsewhere. We have some things on the go, and there'll be more news flow in that regard over the next several weeks.
And lastly, Alex, more broadly, you started at the Azincourt in 2017, and you said that at times things were pretty bleak. And if you brought up the word uranium, you'd get doors slammed in your
Yeah.
face. Things have changed a lot, obviously,
Mhm.
for a number of reasons. The main one, the world is shifting to green energy, and nuclear is a big part of that, along with uranium. So I'm just wondering about this cycle. Do you see it as being different in that it's secular and potentially long lasting, and maybe much different than and longer than previous cycles?
Well, I've been around the uranium space quite a while now, and I can tell you it tests your patience. Everyone that I know that's been involved as long as I have, and even longer, will tell you the same thing. But when these bull markets appear in the uranium sector, they are prolific and they're impactful. And that's what we work for. I mean, we go back to August of 21, and you just look at how sentiment came into the uranium equities with a roar. It was a wave of optimism, and evaluations bumped up 30, 40, 50% almost overnight. And we all know that that is very much on the horizon. Supply demand scenarios almost guarantee it. When it's going to happen is the big question. Right now, we're dealing with broad market issues that are casting a lot of shade over commodities and the markets in general. But when you look at supply demand, yeah, it has one way to play out, and that's one of the reasons we're really optimistic about where things are headed.
Well, thanks for your time today, Alex. Great to talk to you, and we'll be talking to you down the road for sure.
Yeah, appreciate it, Mark. Thanks so much.
All right, Alex Klenman, President, CEO of Azincourt Energy.